On the 10th of May 2019 marks the 3rd anniversary of what became one of my favorite games of all time. Prior to playing its 4th entry, I had no knowledge of who or what Uncharted was. I spent most of my teenage years playing on the Xbox 360, recalling Borderlands, the Modern Warfare, and the Halo series as some of my favorites. Having been with the Xbox for a couple of years prior to the One's release, I had no intentions of switching over. Yet, with the highly anticipated release of the PlayStation 4, I began to shift my focus. While I remember showing mild interest in games such as Killzone Shadowfall and Infamous Second Son, my eyes were now dead set on one game in particular. The game was highly praised by the entire industry throughout its initial release. Joel's story not only demonstrated the potential games have of telling grounded and believable stories, but the possibility of creating a cinematic experience without sacrificing gameplay. Nonetheless, I was thrilled and beyond excited for the future of Naughty Dog and its many games to come. Years went by and E3 2015 rolled around. I vividly remember watching the extended demo with a couple of friends, constantly being wowed by its spectacle and sheer insanity. I was hooked once more, making the Nathan Drake collection a must-own. I simply had no idea of what a wild ride I was about to partake in. I ended up loving Uncharted 1's simplistic yet unrelenting pacing. My expectations were later floored by the sequel's trained set piece and gripping narrative. But nothing could have prepared me for 3's insane level of action and raw fun, found across its globe-trotting levels and many colorful locales. The game's flow across each shooting, climbing, and puzzle sections constantly kept me on the edge of my seat, and remained engaging all throughout its many chapters. Furthermore, getting to finally know who Nathan Drake and his many companions was a blast, each surprisingly unique with personalities and flaws of their own. With Uncharted 4 not just a couple of months away, my levels of expectations were through the roof. While the general public would go on to praise its graphical fidelity and standout set-piece moments, I instead found its quieter and more personal ones much more engaging and interesting to play. Simply by looking at its menu, clear influence was taken from their past project, alongside the addition of optional dialogue and meaningful collectibles, resulting in an overall richer and more fun narrative experience.
My mistake.
I apologize for my friend. I haven't fed him in a while.
Take care. You see the way she looked at me?
You are delusional.
Nonetheless, each incredible action sequence is masterfully crafted and well paced out across the game's many puzzle and exploration sections. Naughty Dog's slower and more open-ended approach was a welcomed improvement over the prequel's frenetic pace, often feeling dragged out and a bit tiresome. Each encounter is now more grand, richer, and multi-layered of routes for Nate to take advantage of. With the added stealth system and smarter AI, every firefight feels unique and different enough to warrant multiple playthroughs. In my opinion, the level which better summarizes the game's true essence is its 11th one.
Alright, there's our tower.
The chapter opens with Drake and Sully making their way through a busy market. The player is given a tour of what will eventually turn into an arena in which they will be forced to dodge and weave between enemy gunfire. Optional collectibles and conversations can be picked up and overheard. By shimmying across the tower's extremities, we then enter its insides. A simple yet visually stunning climb to the top showcases how to better time Nathan's jumps across its intricate vertical environment. Then, a small set piece plays out after violently ringing the bell.
Holy shit.
As Nate and Sully push their way through the busy crowd, an armored truck awaits for them on the other side. This chase allows for the player to freely maneuver themselves across its maze-like streets, and ultimately pick and choose how they will eventually catch up to Sam.
I think that's him. Right there.
Forced to ditch his car, Nathan decides to grapple onto the crane of an enemy truck, resulting in him being dragged along for the ride. It's an incredibly expensive sequence packed with minute animations. From the sliding through the mud and dirt to the surfing behind enemy lines, it never fails to amaze me. From here on out, the player is given full control over which car they'll tackle first. Comparing this sequence to 2's and 3's convoys, it becomes clear the major improvements Force displays, both in terms of runtime and variety in its level complexity. To end it all with a bang, Nate finds himself riding on the back of Sam's bike, blind firing the enormous, fast approaching truck first seen in the market. It serves as a mini-boss and neatly closes the game's halfway mark with a nail-biting and visually stunning explosive run.
Holy shit. Yeah. You good? Yeah.
Nathan also runs into his wife and is forced to own up to his mistakes and selfish attitude. It's by far the best cutscene in the entire series, making you, the player, as guilty as Nate.
The look on your face when you walked into this room. If you're done lying to me, then you should stop lying to yourself. I got a plane to catch. You do what you have to do.
I've always found Naughty Dog's writing in a league of their own, capable of creating believable and memorable dialogue interactions between its colorful cast. The father and son relationship depicted in Uncharted 3 was a personal highlight of mine, as well as Ford's dynamic between Sam and Nate. Seeing Nathan grow and change across each installment helped elevate Nolan North's performance, adding a layer of depth most fictional characters simply lack.
Yeah, just so you know, it's not my first lost city. Just enjoy the moment.
The Uncharted franchise has given me countless hours of sheer excitement and enjoyment. From its drop-dead gorgeous visuals, believably acted characters, and uniquely fun encounters, I can highly recommend the series to anyone looking into a simply fun ride from beginning to end.